Hi, I'm Joe, and this is my October wrap-up video. So these are the books that I read during the month of October. The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson. This is my lovely Penguin Horror edition, which is just beautiful, and it was a joy to read because it was just so pretty. So I had never read this book before, and I really enjoyed it. It was pretty short. It is, I would say, magical realism. It's not like psychological thriller. I was surprised at the ending. I'm new to this genre, so I expect all my books to be sort of wrapped up really neatly with a bow and be told why this stuff was happening, but with magical realism, you don't get that. I also read Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. This book, I had never read this book before. Actually, I did not read this one because I didn't buy this one until after I had finished actually reading this copy. Look at that upgrade. I went from this to this. Oh, so beautiful. Actually, I really enjoyed this copy because I wrote in it. I wrote a lot of stuff. I had a lot of thoughts about Victor. I had never read Frankenstein before. I never even seen a Frankenstein movie, but it's pop culture. There's a hunchback and lightning and it's alive and wah ha ha ha. Except, no, there isn't. No, that is not in this book at all. And I really did not like Victor. Victor is the one that created the monster or the creature, who is not named Frankenstein. Frankenstein is the name of the man that made it. And I really enjoyed this story. I have a lot of notes in it. A lot of them are me yelling at Victor, saying, "Poor Victor, you're such a victim," and all sorts of stuff because I did not like Victor. I love this story though. I have Freedom, a novel by Jonathan Franzen. This is the one I picked up in my Ollie book haul for $1.99, and I am so glad that I only paid $1.99 for it because I got this far, almost to page 400 out of 597 pages before I gave up and decided this book is just so awful that I am not reading any more of it. A big circle of I want freedom, and then they get the freedom, and then they complain about the freedom that they have or that they want another freedom. There is not a likable character in this book. No. Sorry. I really, really tried. And it's not just that the characters were unlikable, because Victor's not exactly likable, and I love this book. There are other stories. Gone Girl. Not likable characters. Love the book. I just did not enjoy this. No. The Good Earth by Pearl S. Buck. I had never read Pearl S. Buck before. It is the classic novel of pre-revolutionary China, and it was amazing. It reminded me of The Grapes of Wrath by Steinbeck in that it is an epic family novel. You follow this family through their hard times and their good times. And this is much shorter than The Grapes of Wrath, although I found out that this is just the first book in a trilogy. There are two other books that continue this family's story, and I honestly liked where this one left off so much that I don't know that I want to read the other two because I sort of have ideas of what is going to happen just because of things that were sort of set up and not resolved in this story. But I highly recommend this story. You just have to get past the way that they talk about women, which this was written by a woman who was actually she was from West Virginia. Her parents were missionaries, I think, in China. So she was not a Chinese woman. I did not even know that. I was so ignorant about Pearl S. Buck. But they say some pretty horrific things about women. Women were considered property, children were considered a burden. They were more attached to the donkey that pulled their plow than their daughters. That was just the mindset and culture of this time. So I think if you go into it knowing that they are going to say some pretty terrible things about women, and you're just kind of like, that is so awful, and I was just kind of like awkwardly laughing at it because it was just so terrible that I couldn't even believe what I just couldn't even believe it. But get past that, and it is a great story. Very, very enjoyable, heartbreaking, and I just loved it. If you liked The Grapes of Wrath, you should read this. If you read this and like this, you should read The Grapes of Wrath. I also read The Heroines by Eileen Favorite. This is the story where a mother and daughter have a bed and breakfast, and heroines from literature randomly show up and randomly disappear. It was a very light read. It's not long at all. And it's more about the daughter, the teenage daughter, and the relationship she has with her mother than the heroines. I was expecting more about the heroines. But let's pretend this never happened. A mostly true memoir by Jenny Lawson. This was in one of my hauls from September. I was very excited to read it. I mentioned that Jenny Lawson has a blog called The Bloggess. I greatly enjoyed this book. If you've read her blog from start to finish, one of the stories are repeated, but there are also more things in here. I really enjoyed it, but I also am just a huge fan of Jenny Lawson in general. So I am so glad though that I finally read her book. It did not disappoint. I was laughing out loud. Funny. She is hilarious. I also read First Impressions by Charlie Lovett, which I have a book talk about this. I don't know which video will be going up first, but I love this book, and you'll have to check out the book talk on that. I also read The Miniaturist, and I did a book talk on that. I have since returned that book to the library, so check out my book talk on The Miniaturist. I enjoyed that book. It's magical realism, and it was just lovely. Another library book that I read was Cinder by Marissa Meyer. Completely new genre for me. I loved that book. Loved it. I read it in a day. I just enjoyed it so much. I love retellings, and wow, that was a real twist on a retelling. I can't wait to read the rest of them. Another was The House on Mango Street by Sandra Cisneros. It is a very small book, and it's a collection of short stories. Some of the stories are just a page long. She wanted to create a book where anyone could just sit down, pick up the book, open it, and read a little story. Didn't take a lot of time, wasn't real wordy and difficult text. She just wanted to make a book that anyone could read and anyone can enjoy, and I enjoyed it greatly. I guess that's all the books that I read in the month of October. I am currently reading All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr. And I also picked up Alice in Zombieland at the library because Michaela at Michaela Eve Reads and Jen at Today in Jen's Library were just going on about this book. It's a retelling. I am not very far into it, so I can't really tell you much about it. I had a very good reading month. I enjoyed everything I read except for Freedom. If you've read any of these and would like to hear a little bit more, or if you've read any of these and would like to talk about them, I would love to discuss them down in the comments. Let me know what you read this month, and I will talk to you later. Bye.